What is going on, everyone? In this video I'm going to be explaining how you can read a book a week and how it will change your life. So most people, myself included, straight after high school didn't like reading. Why? Because we were forced to. We're forced to read boring books about boring or shit topics that no one really reads anyway. So why should you even read a book a week in the first place? Well, lots of knowledge is stored in books. Lots of wealth, lots of ideas, lots of things that you don't know are stored in books. It's asinine, it's stupid to assume that you know everything or that you're the smartest that you could be. I guarantee you, if you pick up a book on whatever you're doing at the moment, whether it's bartending, retail, sales, accounting, and you read it, you're going to learn something you didn't know or think of the way you knew that topic before a little different. So why should you even read a book a week? If you've been following this channel, you would know that we're aspiring to actually get better, improve our lives, make more money, and live lives of freedom. So how are you going to do this if you don't know anything? How are you going to do this by just watching YouTube videos? You see, lots of YouTube videos they're good in terms of information, but they don't actually explain and give you the processes to achieving a certain success that you're after. They might entertain you. Now, most of YouTube is just entertainment. So why is reading actually going to change your life? Well, it's going to expose you to new ideas on new topics or even topics you're interested in. It's going to expand your mind to learn. Now, the most popular common objection I hear a lot with reading is, oh, well, I hate reading. I can't sit down and concentrate for that long. I'm not the best at reading. Look, you don't have to be good at anything to do it. You just have to start. So what most people do is they think they have to read the entire book now. It's a very destructive mindset to have, thinking you have to read the whole book now. Again, it goes back into what we were taught in schools, which is read it by this date at this time or else you're gonna fail. That's not the thing. In real life, you don't have to read shit. You don't have to read. You can click off this video. You can go jump off a bridge if you want. No one's forcing you to do anything, but it's up to what you want to do in life. That's actually going to determine what you do now. So if you want to get better at sales, what do? You do more sales, you read more sales books. If you want to get better at accounting, what do? You do more accounting and you read more accounting books and you network. So how do you read a book a week and actually smash out 52 books in a year? Now, it's something I'm doing this year. I started at the start of 2024. It's currently midway through April and I've read over 14 books, roughly over 14 books. I'm on my 15th book as of today. So how do you read a book a week? It's pretty simple, yet it's easier said than done. Reading a book a week is it's kind of like having a workout program. You need to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Why am I reading a book a week? It's to get smarter. It's to learn more things. It's to get more knowledgeable in the topics that I choose. How am I going to do it? That's an even simpler task. How do you read a book a week? Let's say, for example, this book here, one of the great classics upon females, 50 Shades of Grey. It's roughly 494 pages of reading. So how are we going to break this book down and read this book in 1 week? And you're probably thinking, 500 pages almost. That's a lot of pages to read in 1 week. Now, I do agree, it's a lot of pages, right? It's a lot of scanning, a lot of reading back. You know, most people have to reread some pages because they didn't sit right or the sentences was worded weirdly. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna use some basic maths that you learned in high school, right? Pretty simple shit. We've got 494 divided by 7. 70 pages a day. Now, 70 pages isn't that hard to read. You can read 70 pages. It'll take you an hour, maybe. If you're thinking, oh, I don't have an hour, grow up, right? Everyone has hours. You spend hours on your phone. What's your screen time? That's right. But if I want to read 70 pages a day, what I do is I figure out the times I'm most free and I read it then. I'd read 20 pages in the morning and then I'd finish off the other 50 at night, or vice versa, right? I get it done, I get in my pages. Why? Because although it doesn't feel like much, and when you read 70 pages, what's that? That's 88. When you read 70 pages, you read this much, right? That's how much pretty much 70 pages is. And you think, oh, I've still got so much and 6 days to read it. Trust me, compounding goes hard. Compounding, you don't realize how quickly a book can compound if you just do it for 7 days in a row. And I guarantee if you stay consistent throughout multiple weeks, you'll find days or times in your schedule where you have more time to read. Like for me, Saturdays and Sundays, I read twice as much and I get my books done quicker because I just have that extra time. I'm not working, or if I am, it's on 1 or 2 simple tasks that I can bang out. That's how you actually read a book a week. What about the books I've read? right? I said I've read 15 books. Some of you might be shocked. How can you read 15 books in 1 year? Hasn't even been a year, it's been 4 months, alright? What are the 15 books I've read? I know you're probably thinking, how the F has this motherfucker read 15 books? Alright, the first one, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Definitely a book I recommend. One of the essentials if you're trying to grow your network, grow your wealth, and become a better person. The next one, The Good Financial Advisor. This was more of a technical book, more about understanding financial advisors as we were doing some work for a client. The third one, 12 and a Half by Gary Vee. This was a great one. Yet to read his book, Jab, Jab, Hook, I believe that's what it's called. The next one, the fourth one, the 1% Rule. This is a great book as well, teaching you the principles of compounding interest. Reading 70 pages a day equates to 500 pages a week. Adds up, that's a book a week, pretty simple. The next one, Marketing Made Simple. This one was decent. Crucial Conversations, Dynamic People Skills, that was a great book. As a Man Thinketh was definitely a book I'd recommend. It was nice and short, and it was really to the point, and it had some really good value in it. Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson, another great book for marketing and business if you're into that. Dare to Lead, another great book. Predictable Revenue, I believe these were by the same people. Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. Man, this was a great book by 50 Cent. Definitely recommend, definitely might read again later. From Impossible to Inevitable, another great book. Love, Pain, and Money. This was a great book. It was more of an autobiography by a billionaire. And Built Not Born was the book I read last week. Now I'm currently reading Millionaire Fastlane. This is a great book so far. I'm loving it. Like I said, been reading some in the morning, some in the arvo, just getting my numbers in. So how can reading a book a week actually change your life though? How can it make your life better? What's it gonna do to improve your life? It's a good question, and maybe you're thinking, well, how do I even get 52 books, right? Maybe you wanna do a bit of preparation, you wanna get some books. You can either buy them, you can either borrow them from the library, or you can get them online or on Kindle. Now I recommend going to Anna's Archive. It's a great website where you can get free studies as well as free books. Anna's Archive, definitely one of the best free platforms to get ebooks. Now I know lots of people like physically touching their book, they like filling the pages, smelling the crusty insides. That's alright. Or a bit of a hack here, you could send it to a site called Lulu. This company prints your books or your PDFs for cheaper, and it gets it done in a pretty reasonable time for a pretty reasonable price. If you have a book that's hard to get or that you can't find a hard copy, send it to this company. They'll print it and send it straight to you. That way you have a book that wasn't published by one of those big companies like Penguin or some of those other publishing companies. Now that you know a few ways to get books, there's no excuse to actually reading a book a week. The only excuse is the ones you make. Oh, I got busy, so-and-so said this, so-and-so came up, couldn't do it. The reality is that if you don't make it happen, nothing will happen. You're not gonna get what you want. You're not gonna achieve and attract the dream desires you're building in your life, achieving your dreams, driving supercars, enjoying freedom. You're not gonna get that if you make excuses to read. Reading's a simple thing, right? You speak English, you can read English, you can fucking read books. Books have value and data in them that's actually gonna give you access not only to a mindset or a belief system, but sometimes even a practical way to scale your business, to improve your life, to build your skills, to build your network, to increase your dating life, to increase the money that you make. Going to give books, look, they're not magic, you still have to do the work, but books, I believe, are a very incredible source to achieving great wealth and great freedom. Now, some people argue that books are more for relaxing, you know. Personally, I don't think they're relaxing. I can see how they're relaxing. In the past couple of years, I've only read non-fiction books. It served me pretty well, but at the same time, I do understand that, you know, books like 50 Shades of Grey, you know, you've got your fantasies, sexual fantasies, and you've got all these other types of books that you can be reading. You can be reading cookbooks, you can be reading stories. I knew a girl once who was reading books about tapeworms, right? You have a whole variety of things you can get your hands on. There's really no limitation to what you can read. However, what you read and why you read, that's a different story. But I'll leave you guys with that. I hope you enjoyed the video on how to read a book a week and how you can actually get this done in your own life. So it's worth reading a book a week. I recommend it. If you want access to my book list, let me know in the comments below. We'll definitely send that through. But otherwise, hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.